Okay, wait, Mom. Okay. Can everybody please turn your eyes towards Sammy at the end of the tent? Thank you.
Well, I'd like to start first by welcoming everyone to this, the 90th birthday celebration for my dad. And I'd also like to thank everyone for keeping this part of the celebration a surprise. And hopefully, and I never know with my dad if it's really a surprise or it's a pretend surprise, because with my dad he's a pretty sharp guy. And he's always been very good with numbers, even from the days when he used to work in my grandfather's store. And I know he's saying, but 60 people? Where are these people coming from? You know, I can just see everything going in his mind, you know. And I mentioned to Flory today, I think, do you think he knows? Because if he did know, I know one thing on my dad, he would never let on that he knew to ruin the surprise. But even though, are you listening to this? You know, even though, I know his memory is very good, his long-term memory is very good. But I thought afterwards, I thought, you know what? Even though he's got good numbers, his short-term memory is not what it used to be. So even if he does know, and he did know, he found out, you know what, Flory? We'll wait a few more days. He'll forget. I'll be surprised all over you. So, anyway, there's one thing that I'd like to say. I've been very, very blessed over the years with many good fortune. But there's one gift that my dad's given me that I will always cherish. And I don't really know how to start this, but I'm going to start by going back a number of years. And we were both very, very young in those days. And my dad was always a very hard-working person. And I was always a very curious young person. And no matter how hard my dad would work, he always made time for it. And in those days, he used to enjoy a cigar or two as well. Maybe 3 or 4. But I always knew when I came home that my dad was home. As soon as I opened that door, I could smell the aroma of those cigars. And to this day, I love that aroma. It was La Polina Lilies. From Bar Neighbor Sister Cigars. And it was easy to, you know, Father's Day, it was always easy. He says, where do we get that? Get him. La Polina Lily cigars. That's what he wants. But anyway, I'd open that door, and I knew my dad was home. And this was the time I got to ask all my questions. And I knew exactly where he would be. Go downstairs. We had, in the basement, we had a sort of rec room with a TV and a sofa and some lounge chairs. And I'd kind of go down the stairs and descend into the basement. I'd be in this cloud of cigar smoke. But I would see my dad at the end of it all. And, oh, I just lost my line. But anyway, anyway, I'm going to hold on to this. But anyway, and he would see me and he'd turn the TV off. And he'd say, son, come here, tell me about your day. And I come over, I figured this is the time I have to take all these questions that I've been holding on, and I finally would get all these answers. But with my dad, it never worked that way. I'd give all the questions, but I would get all these questions coming back. And those of you who know my dad probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't know exactly how it went, but it kind of started out that I would be starting out with something, and my dad would say, well, son, put yourself in that teacher or friend, put yourself in their shoes for a second. Now, if you were to say that, what do you think they would say back to you? And I'd say, well, Dad, I think they would say this. And he would say, good, son, Now, what would you say back to them? I says, well, I would say this. And he says, now, what do you think they would say back to you? And we went through this process, on and on. But somewhere in this process, there was a definitive moment when my dad became a dad and I became a son. And he would say, son, no one man has all the answers to all the questions all of the time. He says, the best thing I can do for you is to help you develop a capacity to make your own decisions so you can make your own answers to those questions you're going to endeavor for the rest of your life. And he also said, he says, and one day you'll be a parent, you'll be a dad, and you'll have kids, and I hope you teach them what I'm teaching you today. And to this day, that is one of the cherished gifts that I've ever received from my dad. And I hope, going through the generations, that my kids and their kids, and I have a granddaughter here today, will carry that forward. Dad, I want to thank you very much for that. Anyway, I don't want to say too much. I actually came up here to make a toast. I guess we better make a toast.
But it never got burnt. That's good.
Yeah, well, we got through. I got some wine back, so that works out too. But anyway, Dad, on behalf of everyone here today, we want to wish you and Flory the very best of health and happiness in this your 90th year and many, many years to come. And a very, very happy birthday.
Sharon, you want to say something?